Welcome back to the episode of Smooth Brain EDH, from the smoothest plays with the biggest brains. We got more exciting Commander gameplay for you, so let's see what everyone brought to the table. First up is Sam on Go-Shintai of Life's Origin. This 5-color deck is a Shrines deck, playing a ton of Shrine enchantments to the board to outvalue opponents with their synergistic abilities. Next up is Tanner on Oloro, Ageless Ascetic. This Esper deck is a life gain deck, hoping to gain a ridiculous amount of life in order to outlast opponents until it can assemble a win condition. Third is Chandler on Cloud X Soldier. This Naya deck is an equipment deck, throwing a bunch of equipment on Cloud and swinging in for tons of commander damage. Last is Ethan on Anim Pakal, 1000th Moon. This Boros deck is a tokens deck, hoping to flood the board with gnomes and other various tokens to overwhelm opponents. About to hop right into the game. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to further support the channel, please consider becoming a YouTube member. We have links to our social media pages, our free public Discord server, and the deck list in the description. We're partnered with Dragon Shield. Check out our affiliate link in the description if you'd like to pick up any sleeves, deck boxes, or playmats, and use code SMOOTH5 at checkout for 5% off your order. Now, on to the gameplay.
It looks like Sam wins the die roll. He'll start off with his Zagoth Triumph and he'll pass to Tanner, who plays Temple of Deceit and his Scry stays on top, then he'll pass. And Chandler will just play a Jetmir's Garden and pass to Ethan, who plays a Tap Sacred Foundry. Would you look at that? Tap lands all around. That's some good and fair magic right there. Let's move to Sam's turn now, where he'll play Snow Mountain into 3 visits. He declares he's going to go get an Indotha Triumph and passes while searching. Tanner will start his turn off with Morphic Pool, and then he'll cast Soul Ring and pass to Chandler, who just plays Savannah into Arcane Signet, then he'll pass to Ethan, who will just play a Plains and cast Boros Signet. Man, these first 2 turns have been tap lands and then ramp. Let's see what turn 3 brings us. Sam starts off with a Taiga, then he'll tap for 4 and cast his commander, Go-Shintai of Life's Origin, and he'll make a 1/1 Shrine token. Then he'll pass the turn to Tanner, who will start off with a Tundra, then he'll cast Sheoldred the Apocalypse, and then he'll pass to Chandler, who loses 2 on his draw step, and then he'll play a basic Plains and continue his ramping with a Kodama's Reach. He declares he's going to get a forest and a mountain, and that the forest will go to the battlefield, and then he'll pass to Ethan while searching. He'll lose 2 on draw, then he'll play Sundown Pass and cast his commander, Anim Pakal, and then he'll pass. On Sam's turn, he'll lose 3 life, 2 from Sheoldred, and then he'll play and fetch with a Windswept Heath for a Savannah. Then he'll cast Enduring Vitality, and then thanks to it being out, he's able to cast Honden of Cleansing Fire, and he'll make another 1/1 Shrine. And then he'll pass to Tanner, who gains even more life at the beginning of his turn now. Then he'll play a Plains and cast Test of Endurance. Ooh, that's not good. The rest of the table immediately starts discussing how to deal with this. We'll move to Chandler's turn now, where he says, I've literally got nothing. I don't have creature removal, I don't have enchantment removal, and I can't even swing through the Sheoldred. So he's just going to play a mountain, then cast Swiftfoot Boots, then Black Blade Reforged, and then finally Umezawa's Jite, and then he'll pass to Ethan. Ethan will start his turn off with Clifftop Retreat, then he'll move to combat and swing Anim Pakal over at Chandler. She'll get a counter, and a 1/1 Gnome will also go over at Chandler. After this, Ethan will cast Dawn of a New Age, and it enters with 2 counters. He's got 3 mana open after this, and he'll sit and think for a little while, and then he'll just pass the turn. And on his end step, Dawn of a New Age will tick down, and he'll draw a card. Now on Sam's turn, he'll gain 8 life, then lose 2. Then he'll tap for 3 and attempt to Generous Gift the Test of Endurance. Unfortunately though, Tanner has the negate. This game might end earlier than we thought. Let's see if Sam's got anything else. Maybe Ethan is holding up mana for removal as well. Sam will play Go-Shintai of Shared Purpose. Alright, it's up to Ethan. Sam also gets another 1/1 Shrine, and then he'll move to his end step, and he has a trigger. Ethan responds to it with Stroke of Midnight on Test of Endurance. Alright, the game has been saved. Tanner gets a 1/1, and then Sam will pay 1 to his Go-Shintai and make 6 1/1s. Alright, now we'll move to Tanner's turn, where he'll play a Swamp, cast a Johnny's Welcome, and then Quasar. Alright, then the turn is passed to Chandler, where he'll play another basic forest, and then he'll cast Cloud, Ex-Soldier. On ETB, Cloud picks up Black Blade Reforged. Then Chandler pays the 2 to equip Umezawa's Jite to him as well. After this, he'll move to combat and swing at Ethan for 10 commander damage. There's an attack trigger, so he'll draw a card and make 2 treasure tokens, and then Ethan cannot block. Tanner also will miss a Sheoldred trigger here. And upon connecting, the Jite will get 2 counters. Alright, post-combat, Chandler will sacrifice a treasure to equip the boots. Then the turn is passed to Ethan, and he'll immediately jam Adeline. And then she is followed up with Caretaker's Talent. Then Ethan will move to combat and swing Anim Pakal back over at Chandler. Attack triggers. Pakal will get another counter and make 2 nerds, also going at Chandler. And then Adeline makes a human going at everyone. He'll draw a card off Caretaker's talent and lose 2, and then on to blocks. Sam and Tanner both eat their 1/1 from Adeline, and then Chandler will take 6. Then after this, Ethan just passes the turn. Dawn of a New Age removes its last counter, so Ethan will draw a card. It'll then sacrifice itself, and between its life gain and Tanner's Shieldred, Ethan will net gain 2. Then still on Ethan's end step, Chandler decides to remove 2 counters from Umezawa's Jite to give 2 1/1 Shrine tokens -1/-1 and kill them. Alright, now into Sam's turn. He'll gain 8 life, then lose 2, and then he'll cast a Mesa Enchantress, and follow it up with Enduring Courage, which draws him a card and loses him 2. He'll then play Ketria Triome as his land for turn, and then Sam is getting a little tired of Shieldred, and so am I, so he'll Path to Exile her. Tanner gets a basic. Sam will then pass the turn, and on end step, he pays the 1 to his Go-Shintai to make 4 more 1/1s. Then we'll move to Tanner's turn. On his draw step, Quasar trigger targets Ethan. Then after this, Tanner will cast the Gaffer, which will already trigger on end step. Speaking of end step, Tanner passes the turn. He'll draw that card, and Quasar targets Sam this time. Alright, let's move to Chandler's turn, where he'll play Command Beacon. Then he'll move to combat and swing Cloud over at Tanner, who will block with his 1/1. Chandler also gets his attack trigger, so he'll draw a card and make 2 treasures. And Jite gets 2 more counters. Then post-combat, he'll jam Ugin, Eye of the Storms. Cast trigger will exile Anim Pakal. Then Chandler follows this up with Dog Meat. ETB trigger mills 5 cards, and the most important of these is Anduril, Flame of the West, which he will return to his hand. Then he'll zero Ugin to float 3 colorless mana and cast Anduril. There's now an Ugin cast trigger. He says he's going to go around the table, so he'll hit Sam's Enduring Vitality. And yeah, that's going to make a lot of mana next turn. Alright, and then finally Chandler will sacrifice his treasure to cast Shadow Spear. This 3rd Ugin trigger hits Tanner's board this time. Quasar is exiled. Anyways, Chandler will now pass the turn, knowing full well that Ugin is not seeing his next turn cycle. But you know what? 7 mana, exile 3 things, isn't terrible. Anyways, now on Ethan's turn, he'll play Spectator Seating, then cast Perforos, God of the Forge. Uh-oh. Chandler's really happy he got rid of Anim Pakal now. Anyways, Ethan will then cast Angel Fire Ignition on Adeline. Yep, that has 2 counters and keyword soup now. He'll then move to combat, and Adeline goes over at Ugin. Attack trigger will make 3 1/1s tapped and attacking each of his opponents, and that makes 3 Perforos triggers go in the stack. Youch. Anyways, everyone will block their 1/1s, and then Ugin takes 10 damage, and Ethan will gain 10. Anyways, the turn is now passed to Sam. He'll gain 8 on upkeep. Man, this is just a life-gainy game. Then he'll cast Sanctum of Shattered Heights. He'll draw a card, and then when it ETBs, he gets a 1/1 Shrine, and then they both get Enduring Courage triggers. Then Sam will move to combat, and he'll swing for 7 damage, 3 of it is commander, at Tanner, who just takes it. Then the turn is passed to Tanner, and Tanner will immediately drop a card that the whole table will have to deal with later. Approach of the Second Sun. It resolves, so he'll gain 7, and then put it back in his library with 6 cards on top of it. And then he'll just pass to Chandler and draw an instep. On Chandler's upkeep, Chandler and Sam both decide that Ethan with a Perforos out is a more immediate threat, so Sam will pay 1 to his Shattered Heights Shrine and discard Yavimaya to kill Adeline. He's got 6 shrines and she's got exactly 6 butts, so that's perfect. Alright, then after this, Chandler will equip Shadow Spear to Cloud, then Anduril to Dogmeat, and then he'll cast Tifa, Martial Artist. Chandler will then move to combat. He'll swing Dogmeat over at Tanner, and Cloud over at Ethan. He has 2 attack triggers. Cloud will draw him 2 cards, and he'll make 2 treasure tokens, and then Dogmeat will also make him 2 junk tokens, and Chandler will remember those here in a bit. There's also 2 spirit tokens from Anduril flying over at Sam. Cloud is currently a 12/12 with Trample, so Ethan will put all 4 of his 1/1s underneath Cloud. But still before damage, Chandler will remove 2 counters from Umezawa's Jite to give Cloud +4/+4 until end of turn. So Ethan will still take 12 damage here and die to command damage, and Chandler will gain 16. Then Sam will take 2 from the spirits, and Tanner 6 from Dogmeat. And upon connecting, there is a Tifa extra combat trigger, so Chandler will move to it and untap his boys. Dogmeat goes back over at Tanner, and this time Cloud will go over at Sam. More attack triggers. Chandler will make 2 more treasures and draw 2 more cards. He'll make 2 more junk tokens, and then 2 more spirits are made attacking Tanner. Sam then says, I probably should have done this before you connected with Ethan, but I'm gonna discard a Verdant Catacombs and pay 1 to kill Tifa. Then Sam will take 16 commander damage, and Tanner will take 8 regular damage. Post-combat, Chandler will play a Spectator Seating, then sacrifice 3 junk tokens. The only thing he'll cast among these 3 exiled cards is Silver Shroud Costume. He'll cast it onto Cloud, then he'll cast and equip a Dragonfire Blade onto Dogmeat. He'll then pass the turn to Sam, and then finally remember, oh yeah, Umezawa's Jite should have 4 counters right now, so he'll put them on there. On Sam's upkeep, he'll gain 12. Then he'll cast a Parallel Lives and draw a card upon casting it. After this, he'll move to combat and he'll swing Enduring Courage and 6 1/1s over at Chandler. Chandler will block Enduring Courage with one of his 1/1 spirits and then take 6. Sam then attempts to move to his end step, but Chandler stops him in his second main phase. He'll remove 3 counters from Umezawa's Jite to give his token-generating shrine -3/-3 till end of turn and kill it. But for some reason, Sam does not put it in his graveyard. Weird. He'll pass the turn though and not activate its ability, so for all intensive purposes, it's dead. Anyways, now on Tanner's turn, he'll drop a Farewell. All modes chosen. Yep, full reset. Now Approach of the Second Sun is looking very scary. Anyways, Tanner will then drop a Kumbal and pass the turn to Chandler, who appears to only be drawing ramp. He'll cast a Farseek and a 3 Visits, and will get drained for 4, and Tanner will gain 4. This will get him an untapped Taiga and a Lush Portico, and the Portico will surveil another land to the graveyard. Then Chandler will cast an Arden and pass the turn to Sam, who will just recast his commander, make a shrine, and pass to Tanner, who will cast a Rock's Faith Mender. And then he'll just pass the turn to Chandler, who starts off with a Windswept Heath. He'll then cast a Leyline Axe and a Sword of Feast and Famine. He'll lose 4 life and Tanner will gain 8. After this, he'll move to combat. Arden will equip both to himself, and then he is swung over at Tanner. Tanner takes the full 10, and then he has to discard 2 cards, and Chandler will untap his lands. 2 discard cards are Voice of the Blessed and Swansong. Post-combat, Chandler will cast a Smuggler's Share, then he'll pass, and Sam will cast a Honden of Seeing Winds, then attack Chandler for 3, and pass to Tanner. Tanner starts off by casting Oloro. He'll then move to combat and swing at Chandler for 1, but he'll gain 2. And since he gained life, Tanner will pay the 1 to Oloro's triggered ability, and he'll draw a card, and each opponent loses a life. He'll pass, and on end step, Chandler draws a card and fetches for a tapped Sacred Foundry. Then we'll move to his turn, and Chandler recasts Cloud. ETB trigger will equip the Sword of Feast and Famine, but Tanner responds with the Monkey spell, so Cloud becomes a monkey. Chandler will still move to combat though and hit Tanner for 10 again. We've got more Sword of Feast and Famine triggers. And thanks to the untap, Chandler will recast Cloud, equip the sword, and pass to Sam. On Sam's upkeep, he will draw 4 cards, then cast a Sanctum of Stonefangs. Then he'll cycle a Xander's Lounge, and then he'll pass and Chandler draws on end step. On upkeep, Tanner gains 2, he'll pay 1 to draw a card and his opponents will lose a life, and that card is Approach of the Second Sun, which he will cast. And yeah, I literally think the only card anybody has at the table that could stop this is a Tybalt's Trickery from Chandler, and he clearly doesn't have it because it resolves. That makes Tanner and Oloro the winners. Congratulations. Alright everybody, welcome to the end of the video. Not gonna lie, it's been a long time since I've seen an Approach win, so that was very nice, Tanner. Ethan was a more immediate threat with that Perforos and token generators, but generally if Approach does hit the field, it's gonna be followed up by a board wipe. Would you guys have played that a little differently? If you were in Chandler's shoes, would you have immediately tried to kill Tanner? With the extra combat, he could have. Anyways, let us know down in the comments below. And that's enough talking out of me for today. I hope you all have a smooth day.